Hello and welcome to the Day There Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
Hope everybody's safe. Just to let everybody know, due to Izzy's recommendation, I am drinking Blood Orange IPA from the flagship brewing company. And true to its name and to the review found on Instagram, it is Blood Orange.
There's the pour. Has a great head.
Oh, man, that is citrusy.
Yep, you smell it. Orange peels everywhere.
And I don't know anyone who doesn't smell their IPA. Shame. Tough on you.
Shame. Cling. Cling. Now,
All right, folks, today we're going to give you a special, right? This is another top 5, and we are going to list for you.
Top 5 we're going to give you, actually.
2. This is a double feature, double header.
Price of 1.
We will give you the top 5 worst and top 5 best horror movie remakes. But before that, Izzy has a few happening topics that he'd like to share.
We have a couple things that came up for, and we're going to shoot them rapid fire style. So it looks like AMC, the theater, AMC theaters, is in deep shit, basically. Today, COVID-19 has forced AMC to close over 1,000 theaters, with 600 corporate employees being laid off or furloughed. We all know that, correct?
If I remember correctly, AMC is the #1 movie theater distributor.
Yep, they have 996 theater and just under 11,000 screens in 15 countries, with 2/3 of that where in the U.S.
Damn, sucks for them.
Yeah. So, with no revenue coming over several months, AMC Theaters says that its first quarter financial loss, it's between $2.1 and $2.4 billion, with a full report coming next week. What do you think?
I actually thought it would be worse than that, considering the loss of ticket sales, movie rentals. They're not one of those outlets that can give you early access, like a Disney, like a Netflix, like a Amazon Prime. So they have no other outlet to generate income. Not to mention they have physical entities that require rent, overhead, electricity, employees that you can't hire, you can't work, you can't do anything with. It sucks because AMC has brought to life many awesome shows recently. Of course, Walking Dead, Enter the Badlands, etc.
No.
But also they have theaters all across the country, all across the world. Like we had mentioned in our previous rapid fires, how do you recover from this? How can you be creative? Even if you were to be creative and somehow generate some income, I don't even know how you break even in the next few years.
I mean, let me read you their statement, quote unquote. We may not be able to obtain additional liquidity and any relief provided by lenders, government agencies, and business partners may not be adequate and may include onerous terms. Due to these factors, substantial doubt exists about our ability to continue as a going concern for a reasonable period of time. Now, part 2 of that. We believe we have the cash resources to reopen our theaters and to resume our operations this summer or later. Our liquidity needs thereafter will depend, among other things, on the timing of a full resumption of operations, the timing of the movie releases, and our ability to generate revenues. That's no good.
No, with social distancing.
I'm not a lawyer, but that does not sound good.
No, social distancing being the now and future policy, you're not going to fill the stadiums. You're not going to have a packed house. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how you can do this. You already close down theaters. You're probably going to close a lot permanently. You could be inventive and open up in big lots with less overhead, a drive-through. I don't know how much you're going to generate revenue on that. Um, Looks kind of bleak. I hope they can survive this. I hope that we can all survive this. I hope that they can recoup. I hope their employees can have a future with AMC.
I mean, it
I
looks,
hope there's some kind of bailout, to be honest. And I know there's other more worthy industries. I get it.
no,
But I hope they can get some kind of assistance because more than anything, in all this recovery efforts, mentally, people need entertainment, which is why there's this big thrust to get baseball back. There's a big thrust to get the NBA restarted in sports. And I understand in the grand scale of things, you have essential workers, you have essential people, you have farmers, groceries, daily living that you need, things for sustaining life. But then there's also quality of life, and that entails entertainment. I hope they find a way out of it, but that's a big, heavy number you lay down there.
which leads to the next little tidbit. They went around and started giving them production. They came to New York. They went to Hollywood, and now they have a set of guidelines to, COVID eyes or coronavirus protect the sets. The Hollywood set production resumption guidelines are set. The report recommends that actors as well as crew who work closely with performers like hair and makeup wear masks and observe hand hygiene practices immediately after completing each task. Obvious, right? While all cast and crew should be required to participate in daily temperature checks. Not only that, but check this one out. In addition, autonomous COVID-19 compliance officers will be on hand on sets to specialize in enforcing coronavirus safety measures.
Well, let me ask you, is a very crucial, pivotal thing here. I mean, when the big stars go into the trailers and they come out all hot and sweaty, we're going to test them?
I mean, according to this, they should, but will they? I doubt it.
I think the temperature strips are going to be off the his.
I doubt it. You think they're going to test Julia Roberts or?
They're not sticking the strip in the Brad Pitt's tongue. No.
Maybe they're doing
And not even the intern.
Yeah,
I'm not even making connection there. I'm just saying, you know what? I think it's going to happen heavy and strong in the beginning. The SAG is a union, right? Every union is going to be adherent to these policies. But as like everything else, it's going to
relax and more lax and more
lax. It's going to relax. You know what? It's going to relax the most when there's a budget and they can't meet it because every 5 minutes somebody's wiping down a station.
Yeah.
This is the truth. Same things. I predict the same thing is going to happen with the restaurant industry. In the beginning, you have outdoor dining, you have lines, you're going to have plexiglass, you're going to have blue tape. Give it a month or so, washing down the floors, hustle and bustle, lines out the wazoo. It's going to get crowded and more crowded, and the glass is going to go down, and people are not going to wipe this and wipe that. No one's going to Purell off. It's going to be hot and sticky outside as summer hits. I'm not so sure. Come August that half the stuff is happening. Look, outdoor dining with restaurants. You gonna wear a mask? How the hell are you gonna eat?
Oh no, supposedly once you get on the table, you're good. You can take it off.
Right. I'm not gonna get into the idiocracy of it all. I'm sorry.
Just saying. That's
yeah.
We'll see what happens. All right. So now here we go.
All right. Without further ado, people.
The top 5.
This is gonna be fun.
Best.
All right, so let's flip a coin, sir.
Remakes of all time.
I'll set it up to you. Put you on the spot. Let's do the best.
Do the best.
All right, we'll count it down from 5 up, 5 down. I mean.
Yeah, from 5 to 1. You want to start off, or should I?
Okay, I'll start it off.
Do it.
All right, so my 5th best remake is the 2010 version of Let Me In.
Huh.
I thought it was chilling, well done, good acting, good pacing, good suspense. I thought it was rather original in the sense of just the whole setting. It's as though it were a standalone movie. I really liked it. I mean,
It's not better than the original. Let the Right One In is so good, it's not even funny.
it is. It is. But this is a
We
pretty
saw
good
we
one.
saw it together way back when.
Yes. This is a pretty good one. I have to give credit where credit is due. I can't say it's better, but I apologize, people. That was I misread my own script. My handwriting is pretty bad. That was an honorable mention. Number 5 is actually John Carpenter's interpretation of The Thing.
Okay.
I believe it's in 1978 or 81.
1982.
82. It's very close. I was right around the. John Carpenter's remake of Howard Hawks' 1951 film of The Thing of the same name, readaptation of John W. Campbell Jr.'s story Who Goes There. You got a cast of a young Kurt Russell. John Carpenter, fresh from doing Escape from New York.
Fresh face and bubbly.
I mean, you have a fast-paced, crazy Antarctic setting of a creature that morphs and imitates whoever it just kills. You got fast pace, you got tension, you got action, you got horror, you got suspense, you have the elements. Again, John Carpenter's pacing, his camera work, the actors and cast that he has assembled here. I believe Steven Spielberg initially was part of this production. It's different than the 1951 one, but it is a superior cult classic movie. It's number 5 on my list. Sorry to confuse you all. Go ahead.
Let me interject one little thing. John Carpenter's first 3, 4, 5 movies were so good that I would compare them to any other great director out there, and he could stand toe to toe.
Toe to toe, and he might actually get a tip. He gets a little nod above everybody else because he always adds in some kind of musical score element,
which he does himself.
Which is memorable, sometimes more memorable than the movie, than the lines. Everybody knows Halloween. I mean, everybody.
We all know he blew his load, and since then he's, whatever. But
well, it's neither here nor there. So, okay, my number 5 is The Thing. Sir, you're number 5.
Great minds think alike. My number 5 is The Thing.
Mother Flower.
So,
and so you don't have to reiterate everything. So great movie. Great movie standalone. I'm not taking away from the 1951 movie.
Practical special effects are great. Storyline, ambiance.
I mean, the howling of the creature, the sounds, the wolf in the beginning. I mean, just it's very visceral, very raw, and he really gets with the faces of the actors, with their fright and their fear. He really gets you to feel like them.
Now, my number 4, I kind of flipped and flopped and kind of hemmed and hawed about this pick, but then thinking about it, it is a horror movie. It may not be a traditional monster, mash, or slasher film, but it's a horror movie, nonetheless. Cape Fear. For me.
Why, if I may ask, would you dub it a horror movie?
Because, just because.
I mean, it's a psycho.
Yeah.
It's a slasher kind of.
Want to call it a psychological thriller? I think it's more of a horror movie. I mean, he hunts the family down. It has a lot of horror elements within that film.
I'm not gonna mess with that. I agree with you. All right, carry on.
It just takes the original and just amps it up so much. One of his best roles. He's a sick freak, Max Cady, and it's just one of his best roles. And
one of his best performances. I'll give you that. If you ever wanted to stare at somebody and be like, that crackpot is a nut. And he seems to do that role really well.
Yeah, he does.
He does. Scaringly Taxi Driver-ish well. But I can't mess with that. That's a good movie that definitely belongs in my honorable mention list.
What's your number 4?
My number 4 is the 1978 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This remake of the 1956 horror classic features Donald Sutherland
Yep.
as I guess he's a food inspector, and in San Francisco in the restaurant industry, and he clashes with these aliens. He seems to be one of the only few people to kind of piece together some strange happenings that's going on, and how these alien life forms in pods are recreating humans in their likeness and eventually taking them over. You have the iconic ending where it goes, "Ah!" Now, with that said, again, I'm a fan of the
Me
original.
has been made about that, man.
You know, yes, there's a million means. I'm a fan of the original. I love the original. Where at the end of the movie, the old guy, he's the only one that's trying to ask everybody. He's looking so distraught. He's asking everyone to just listen to him. The cards are going this way and that way. Eventually, I think he gets hit. It's well done. This is a different spin. It was updated. It was modernized. It was performed well, and it scared the bejesus out of me. He really got you going as far as who can you trust,
Of course, man.
who is with you, who's real human, who's not. And it was a damn good movie. If anybody has not seen this movie or even the original, go check it out. That is my number 4.
And don't get me wrong, actually the remake of the remake is actually pretty decent. But this remake is wonderful. It was actually honorable mention number 8 on my list, so it was definitely there. Now we go to what, number 3?
Yes.
Number 3 for me is It. Stephen King's It, which I would say I will go chapter 1. It's so much better than chapter 2 for me personally. And I think it took Stephen King's idea and just expounded upon it. And now with the technology that we have, you could actually do all the things that you can imagine, as opposed to back then in the TV movie, which wasn't bad in its own right, but it still wasn't, you know.
I mean, it.
I think this shit was creepy. It was, just imagine if you're a kid and you see this freaking demonic clown, and it's just, it worked. It worked.
It for me had obviously a lot better qualities than the original.
Right.
But for me, where it could have hit home, and it's like it hit warning track power all the time. But for me, it just lacked that one punch to hit it out of the park. Okay. So it was honorable mention for me, but it didn't quite get the ball out of the park. I didn't touch all the bases. If you compare them, there's no comparison. It's far better than the first one. But it just, for a Stephen King movie, for a Stephen King fan that I am, for a horror movie fan that I am, it had so much potential, especially talking about a freaking clown, man. I wish I had seen more, a little twistedness.
The band, that's just.
Well, yeah. Join us, folks, for the summer bash when we do eventually have it, which we will. That is one of the challenges is the It dance.
Yeah.
Should you pass on the Chug and Chuck, which we'll get into in another segment. Good pick, by the way. Good pick. Right, my number three is the 1986 version of the 1958 original, The Fly.
Another one of my honorable list. I thought about it.
I can't. You know what it is, people? I am still freaked out by Jeff Goldblum's performance. And look, the original is great, but the only thing I remember from the original is help me. What I remember from the 1986 version is grotesque gore. The slow metamorphosis of his human form into a fly. That's what this. If he just went into a closet, came out as this gross thing, okay. But you saw body parts falling, skin, eyeballs, everything, and he wasn't getting worse. He was getting better.
But here is the quintessential argument that I think horror fans have. Okay, do we like gore or do we like horror or scares. Was The
Well,
Fly a scary movie? No. Was it a gory movie? Yes.
what is a twisted movie as far as where science can bring you should an accident happen?
Yeah. I mean, 100%. It's a great movie. I mean,
And it actually has other elements that kind of rise it above other movies. There's a love story involved,
well, yeah.
you know. I mean, and it's not teenage love, head to the shack, let's do it on the in the laundry room. I'm not mocking, Halloween. I'm not mocking Halloween.
Teeny
You know,
Davis, right?
can babysitters get together? No, I'm not even mocking that.
Who was
This is
wait, I'm saying who's the lead in the female lead in The Fly? It was Teeny Davis,
Gina
right?
Davis.
Yes, of course.
And so they're research scientists heavily involved. So you have intertwining elements of their relationship, his academic relationship, his need to prove himself, his genius, and one little fly gets involved and screws everything up.
Well,
And just when you think, and this is where it gets into the shady realm of psychological thriller, is just when you think, okay, this mad scientist is a victim of this accident, and oh, you don't have a green monster who can't control his anger, you don't have a humanoid teenager who is now taking on characteristics of a spider. No, he's a freaking mutant fly. Ugh. And he's embracing this change because he feels stronger. He never had the kind of physical strength, but he's not realizing that he's metamorphosing into something repulsive. And there's many deep subtext and storylines, which is why the original Fly, horror and gross, but well done movie. And that's my number 3. Let's move on to number 2. Izzy, go take it away.
Number 2, Dawn of the Dead from 2004. The Zack Snyder classic. To me, to this
God damn you, Pedro. That's what I got to say. God damn you. That's my number 2 as well. Go ahead, take it.
Hey, I think it is best film. I think when you look at a zombie movie and you say, okay, zombies eat flesh, eat brains, whatever. No one thought of the fact that what if? Well, I mean, at least in a serious manner, you know what I mean. What if they weren't just these slow, plodding, you know, dead corpse, reanimated corpses, basically.
They were on speed.
Exactly. He said
they were adrenalized, baby. They were moving, man.
I'm gonna flip it on his head, spin it around, and imagine you freaking turn around, you turn the corner, and you see a bunch of zombies, and they start sprinting at full speed. How horrifying is that?
Yeah, you're getting into the precursor to 28 Days Later. You're talking about all-out survival. You're not meandering through walking corpses in kind of a terror sad / state. You're out running for your freaking life. This was fight or flight.
That beginning scene with Sarah Polly when she's leaving her neighborhood.
Oh, that's a great scene. Wait, rewind that, sir. Rewind it. She's a nurse, or I forgot. She's a healthcare worker. She comes home. I think it's a Friday night, and you know what? You do what we do on a Friday night. You had a rough week. You know, you meet your man. You shower up. You get. Hey, stranger.
Chicka bow bow.
Bang bang, and you know what? You're in that sleepy stage of euphoric indulgence, and you wake up, and here's 7-year-old neighbor growling at you. And from that point forward, I give you that. From that point forward, if you take an epinephrine heart shot ×3, stab it in there, get it really good, and you're running for your life. On that beginning scene, you're right. The car chase, the ambulance, the slow witnessing of the destruction that was once your peaceful suburban home is now turned into the apocalyptic zombie ×10 end of the world. And you don't know where the hell you're going. You meet a pack of survivors. You don't know who to trust. You go with somebody. You know what I love? The pacing, the directing, the
Zack Snyder
cast.
in the world. I think that was superior direction. I mean, I think he has a knack for action. He has a knack for ambiance and that whole thing. That visceral. He has a visceral
Well, he took a different
style.
spin, I think,
You know,
and his spin was,
works.
let's not make this a horror movie per se. Let's make this an action movie driven by horror, as
He
opposed to
almost
direct
got
action.
almost a little too, almost a little off the rails. Spoiler with the whole pregnancy and the whole thing.
That's
But
fantastic.
you
No,
know,
no, that I take that. I take exception. That was fantastic. That was an element that was not previously addressed or put in there. So I love that part, especially you knew things not moving in there, and then you find out how creepy things get, how wrong things
no,
get. That
I mean,
Michelle Pfeiffer had
it
tied up his spouse.
it bordered the line of almost, but it worked. It obviously worked, but it was like on that line.
Yeah, and, well, it
Oh,
again, it successfully pitted humans against moral decisions at every turn. Who to live, who to survive, what would you do? Where's the future lie? You can't stay in one place. You have to progress. I
yep,
mean, it gets surreal to the point that they have temporary essentials available to them, but it's not going to last forever. And outside, it just gets more and more. It's like they just multiply every day. And you throw in that other element with the survivor, the gun guy.
that's awesome. That was
And see,
awesome, and
that's what I'm saying.
fucked
The
up.
writing, the writing, the directing, the whole movie itself threw a lot of different elements at you that you didn't otherwise have in other movies.
Yeah,
And they made it slow when you needed to and fast paced for most of the rest of it. I agree with you. I cannot lie. Dawn of the Dead, 2014 remake far outdoes the original.
and mind you, the original was classic.
Classic,
But
classic.
this one took it and then just
Well, in the original, I'm gonna be. Oh my god, I'm gonna take a lot of flack for this. The original got a little slow at the end for me.
yeah, but the
You know,
whole
they're
the
still in
whole
the mall. They're still trying to escape, but it just got a little slow for me. Where this only has slow spots for a purpose, and it was really executed well. Most of the rest of the movie was an adrenaline shot of 10 lines of coke.
all right. Now you want to give me number one or should I first?
All right, I'll head it off. My number one. Boy, I wrestled with this, people. Um, Mainly because once I do say it, I don't know if it is going to agree with me or not. In the definition and the loose interpretation of what's a remake, what's not a remake. Um,
You son of a bitch.
Evil Dead 2.
You son
Yeah,
of a bitch.
yeah, I got in there first swimming. Uh, Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 1 is a classic. Done with no expectations, completely low budget, a lot of improvisation, a lot of ingenuity, but with resources, money, backing, Evil Dead 2 was able to bring to life with far superior effects, with some exponential chilling laughter, like a hyena type of possessed laughter, uh, crazy creepy shit, moving hands, amputated parts. I mean, crazy off the wall stuff. It took one to a level it should have been, and then some, if you just opened up the wallet. And it still kept Bruce, my man, but I'll leave it at that as my number one best horror remake. And of course, since obviously it is Izzy's too, he will expound on it and bring it home.
Yeah, well, I mean, even though in a sick, twisted way, I actually prefer Evil Dead to Evil Dead 2 because of the rawness of the movie and because it's low budget and because of all the things that Evil Dead 2 did better. it took the movie with a better budget, with more experience, with better actors, with better sets, with more experience, and just made it that what was here to here. And also it added that comedic element which was missing from part one. Which from then on, from part two, it went straight throughout the Ash Williams series or saga or whatever you want to call it. But it's an epic movie. I would compare, and it's a bad comparison, but I would say how El Mariachi is the first, and Desperado is a remake of El Mariachi, but not really, but it kind of is with a better budget and whatever else. This is a much, this is even that much so, And I just think Sam Raimi just knocked it out of the park. There's not much more to say that that hasn't expounded on that already you mentioned. So
No, and I hope that you guys can go check out these top 5.
definitely.
And actually, for yourselves, watch the original. Give yourself a moment, refresh your palate. Go watch Seinfeld, and then go watch the remake. And you tell us. You tell us.
Yeah, I mean, actually, you can watch the first one and watch part 2, and even though it's technically a sequel, you can see how if you didn't watch the first one, you're good without watching. You know what I mean?
It's not a departure. It's more of a refinement.
Yeah, it's almost like if they make it seem like they went back to the cabin,
right?
And it all happened again. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure you're going to appreciate the fact that it is a superior movie because he had superior resources.
100%.
All right. With that said, people, I think this is going to go fast because this is not going to take long. And actually, the hardest part.
Check it out. Let's do it.
The hardest part was doing the worst remakes ever because you know what? There was a shit pile about this big over my head.
Actually, yeah.
And I had to shift through the ashes, and I tried to use proper PPE, but I couldn't. I dove in there, and I'm sure I'm not the same.
Okay, number 5. Boom.
Number 5. To be honest, again, what I just mentioned, there's a whole ton of bad, horrible, disgusting. Why did they even do this? Attempts. So I'm going to make my number 5 a conglomeration of 3 movies. Because you know what? It was a 3-way. It was an ugly 3-way. Some 3-ways are good. This was no good. No bueno, people. No bueno. So,
number of 2 movies, my number 5. So we'll go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Wicker Man, Poltergeist, and Amityville Horror. On all 3 accounts. Why? What? What were you thinking? Did somebody put you up to? Were you contractually bound? I mean, horror. The horror in this is that they try to make these movies.
You know what? I regret not watching Poltergeist. People have told me it's terrible, and I didn't even know they even made it, which I feel bad for saying that.
It was terrible. Amityville Horror was, I thought the first one was decent for what it was, but this was slower to go. They tried to put different twists in. Huh?
Ryan Reynolds when he had his shirt off.
Ooh. Yeah, well, except for that, finger looking good, boy. Nothing else. The Wicker Man was like a feeble attempt to be something that didn't even know what it should be. Partly comedy, partly dark detective, partly dad tragedy. Huh?
Nicolas Cage.
Okay, those are my 3 for 5.
All right, my number 5. It's a conglomerate of 2, which, mind you, it's 2 remakes. And the original is so superior, which is probably one of the best horror movies of all time. Yet these 2, which share the same name, are an abomination to that original, to that 1974 original. Black Christmas from 2006, and that mess that we got at the end of last year in 2019 with the sorority. They just had the name. It's just terrible. They have no idea. They just used the name Black Christmas.
Yes,
it's awesome.
That gets my dishonorable mention list.
All right, number 4. Go ahead.
Number 4. Good Lord. Again, just to preface, all these movies fall under the same title of why the fuck did you do this? Number
It's
4 for me
necessary.
is the remake of the 1978 classic, which some call uh, the elevation standard to slasher
You
movies.
son of a bitch.
Is the 2013 remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, okay. You know what? Only
The
reason why.
original was so new and refreshing, visceral, and in your face of a psycho family, a leather face, skin wearing mutant mountain of a man donning a chainsaw, embracing the craziness of apparently inbred and other weird shit going on. And they abduct some kids on a hitchhike on the side. I mean, it's a freaking classic, man. It's
The
a freaking. Why you mess with any of these things?
the only
And
reason.
this one was again. This was a mutant abomination that, pardon my rawness here, that should have been at inception. Oh, horrible! Like
You
I had
think
to
about
go
that
through
movie,
maybe 20 minutes of it, and I said, I can't.
out of your
I
mind,
need these minutes back.
you should have stayed later on, and I'm gonna get flagged for this, but the only redeeming quality of that movie is Jessica Biel. Enough said. Let's move on.
You're number 4, sir. Then
Number 4, another abomination which should never be made. Again, the original from 1978, which I thought we were talking about. 1978. You know what?
spit it out.
Look at that. Halloween, Rob Zombie,
Oh no, screw you, man. That's my number 3.
Clown Shoe. The dude is a hack. I appreciate the fact he likes horror movies.
Whoa, no, wait.
He is a
Back up the
hack.
track, Mac. Back up the track. No. You know, I'm a fan. Admittedly so, I admit that I'm a fan of Rob Zombie, both his music and, for a lesser extent, his movies. I mean, I love A House of a Thousand Corpses and other things that he's done. I totally agree with you. You can't touch John Carpenter's Halloween.
But The House of the Corpses is a blatant ripoff of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
Other movies. So give me an original fucking movie. He gave us one, and it was dog shit. The Lords
I
of
don't
Salem.
even know why you touch.
Check it out, or don't check it out, please.
Why would you touch Halloween other than your balls are itching and you just want to show how big it is? I don't get it. You're talking about an original score, original cast, memorable character, memorable face. I mean, who came out of this? Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Myers, the iconic score for Halloween, a whole family lineage of spin-offs, sequels, shows,
because
whatever.
to make a movie, you can make a remake, doesn't mean you need to make a remake.
And I didn't care for how they tried to make Michael Myers, how he tried to make Michael Myers into more of a serial killer.
Yeah, it's just,
because then you took away the whole evil aspect, which was the entire premise of it. He was a demon.
But that was his only angle. I mean, it's his only angle. But
all right, so that was my 3. That was your 4. So then, what is your 3?
My number 3 is Prom Night. I'm not gonna go
That's
into
an honorable mention. I'm sorry, a dishonorable mention for me.
Not gonna go into it. Jamie Lee Curtis.
You don't have to.
Was a freaking classic. This one was dog shit. Moving on. You're number 2.
My number 2 is the sorry, unexplainable remake to another classic.
Oh, God.
A monster classic. Another classic.
You son of a bitch.
Scared the bejesus out of me for about 6.5 weeks. Where I had to sleep with the lights on, and I was so scared out of my pants to fall asleep because I would have a nightmare, and I don't even live on Elm Street. You're talking about Wes Craven's iconic Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh my God. I mean, you're talking about colorful, vivid dreams. You don't even know what's reality, what's dream. You're talking about touching into everyone's fears. You're talking about memorable scenes. You're talking about your heart thumping out of your freaking chest. I mean, again, Wes Craven is on the Mount Rushmore of horror movies, right? So is this movie. Why the hell would you even want to approach it? It's like, hey, let's remake Michael Jordan's dunk. Let's Babe Ruth's iconic home run. Let's just,
That's a topic for another day. Why they would do it? We're just here to just give our.
all right, I found the movie. I could not even make it through.
Yeah, look,
You know what? Because I wanted to eat my my lunch and save it, so I didn't want to spew it out. So.
what's his name? Jackie Earl Haley, good actor, and I don't blame him. It's just Robert Englund was such an iconic role, a role of a lifetime, and his Freddy Krueger couldn't even shine freaking his boots. That's also my number 2, by the way. So
again, great minds think alike, and you're welcome. There's a whole plethora of poor pacing, bad acting, unappealing characters, and most notably an unnecessary change to Freddy's backstory. And you make him a pedophile when no, in addition to everything, he is a pedophile, but he's everything else.
Yeah.
Exactly. But they single him out, and that just opens up a whole little dimension. That's not necessary. Why don't you just make him one crazy, evil, twisted son of a bitch? Because he was spawned by a million crazies gangbanging a nun.
Why you're trying to bring
reinvent the wheel?
Something that has no freaking logic. Why are you trying to freaking reinvent the wheel? I mean, the story was perfect as is. All right, my number one.
Yes, you go number 1 because I stole your thunder twice now, so go for it, sir.
Another movie that should never have been made, from a great director, Gus Van Sant, a good actor, Vince Vaughn, and
screw you, man,
and more. The ridiculousness from 1998.
Let's say it together.
Psycho.
Yeah, it's my number 1 as well.
Okay. What can I say as a younger adult? When I saw this, I'm like, what the fuck? Why? And then when I actually saw the movie, I'm like, that's a dude from Swingers. What the fuck? Why?
John Constantine actually just came back from the dead, and he came back from hell, and he said Alfred Hitchcock wants to know, why the fuck did you make this movie? I mean,
that's pretty funny, actually. I like
that. You put this fucking clown. You know what? No, I take it back. He's not a fucking clown. He's a funny man. He always was, and he's great at it. Vince Vaughn is a funny man. He is not a convincing Norman Bates. And everything from this movie, to me, was an insult to a pioneer of the slasher / psychological thriller forefather, Alfred Hitchcock. Why?
So I'm saying, bottom line, a lot of this list, at least 3 of the 5 on both lists, you say, why? Why would you even attempt to fix or remake or reimagine a perfect movie? How can you expound on Alfred Hitchcock, bro? I mean, how?
It's like me saying, you know what? I'm working on my Mona Lisa because the original just needed. Yeah, I can do one up.
The one, I think it needs a little more shading in the background. Give her heavier eyebrows or something.
She's a little too pale for my liking. What?
You know what? Give her a nose ring. Or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch up my ceiling and make it a little bit better than the Sistine Chapel. What? All right, so, we especially drafted that top 5 worst movies so that we spare you the eyesore and the wasted time of even attempting to view one of these pieces of garbage. It's basically all the footage in the world of these movies should be put into one dumpster fire, lit, and maybe send that cubicle off into the sun and get annihilated into helium.
So when you see So when you see these movies, you need to see the original, regardless how old they are. There are
You
copies out there.
definitely.
There are versions out there that are high def, 4K, whatever. Watch it. Don't watch the remake.
So again, folks, that's our top 5 best, top 5 worst horror movie remakes of all time. We hope that the worst list doesn't get any bigger, and we leave it
Well,
at that. But again, feel free to, and I encourage you, we both encourage you, watch these movies. Not just Halloween time, not just in October. Watch these movies now. Have a good time with it. Horror is supposed to be enjoyed because nothing feels more alive than when you feel scared out of your shit.
yeah.
All right. So I'm Raka,
I'm Izzy.
and we're just signing off from Dead Air Dudes. Filling the void. Enjoy the movie. Enjoy the popcorn. Stay safe, and save the whales.
Stay safe. Take care. Save the whales. Good night, everybody.
At all.